Hello and welcome back to Finger Guns with Tony, Dave, and James. I am your diabolical co-host, Dave Baldwin, and here I am with
Tony B.
and
Spooky Jimmy.
ooh, spooky.
A ghost.
A ghost.
Yes.
Tony, you got nothing?
Tony's
got nothing, guys.
This was gonna be like a Simpsons Treehouse of Horror thing. Like
You shit the
Sorry,
bed,
I
Tony.
forget- I,
You could be
shit the
terrified.
bed
You could
on
be.
that one.
You're terrified, Tony.
yeah, terrified Tony.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
terrified, Tony.
I don't really like the sound of that, but I'll be terrified for you guys.
Appreciate it.
Life comes at you fast, buddy. You're
Just-
terrified, Tony. How are we? How are
yeah.
we doing today? We're recording this over Canadian Thanksgiving weekend,
The true Thanksgiving.
and
The real Thanksgiving.
I have definitely eaten a lot of potatoes
Yeah.
and a lot of ham. I'm
A
surprised.
surprising amount of ham.
Surprising amount of
Yeah.
ham.
It was a big ham year this year.
Yeah, ham came back in a big way.
Yeah.
And my son, he wanted to try it, but he didn't want ham. So we're like, oh, it's chicken. So he ate a shit ton of chicken, which was actually ham. But apparently he also ate chicken that was turkey. So I'm pretty
Well,
proud of him.
Look, the chicken to turkey thing I can kind of get behind. That feels a little bit more like you have your white meat, your dark meat. They're both foul.
I feel like you're gonna fuck him up when he's
But
older because
he's gonna think
look at
everything
ham.
tastes like
Yeah.
chicken.
No, that's what they did.
Exactly.
That's what they did with Alyssa too.
Well, that explains a lot.
That explains
That
everything.
explains everything.
Everything.
Yeah, Alyssa, it's just chicken. Meanwhile, she's eating like a full steak. Like what?
Yeah,
Bro.
the bloodiest steak you can find.
He'll be okay. He'll be
Yeah.
okay once he's a little older and we can help him develop his palate a little more. I'm sure he'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
bro, he's gonna have to come for sushi and he's gonna have to come for bloody steaks. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. There are
Can't
very
have him not do that, right?
there are very few manly things that I kind of am attuned to. I don't sit and watch the game. Don't
No.
throw around the old pig skin.
No.
I don't sit there with a beer.
No.
But I do love me a big bloody steak, and
Yeah.
damn it, he's gonna love big bloody steak, or he's at least gonna try it.
Yeah. There's nothing like it.
There's nothing like it.
Well, fingers crossed he doesn't end up a vegetarian when he's older. But
I want him to at least try.
I'm holding out for like I'm hopeful that like we'll have like full lab grown meat by then, and it's just like
maybe
we
we'll
can
have
get rid of the
plant-based
ethical
steak.
dilemmas, and it's just
Yeah.
like lab grown, and we could just like all enjoy steak again because it's fine, it's ethically sourced and not whatever it is
doesn't
now.
have to be lab grown as long as it's ethically sourced.
The cow lived a
Can they-
very good life.
Can they find an ethically way to make veal? Because like I'm getting tired
No.
of feeling like shit for eating veal.
You
No,
get to
that's-
continue that feeling for
No,
the
that's-
for the next while.
That's not. I don't think that's
Oh,
going to
God.
change anytime soon.
Yeah.
Well, veal parm. It's just so good.
Yes, it really is. There's nothing like it.
There's nothing like a veal parm sandwich,
Oh man,
Like
we're gonna get
the
canceled
veal on
over
the
this,
sandwich.
man.
Oh,
We're
okay,
gonna get
let's,
canceled.
let's stop talking about
Greenpeace is coming after us now, man.
Let's stop talking about meat. Just talk
Meat.
about potatoes.
What? What?
I don't know, man.
He's
You
just
just sung
he's
it,
just,
but
he's
all right,
just
man.
so happy.
Jesus.
He's just breaking out into fucking
Man, I had
Singing
some,
in the
I had some
rain
great
over
fucking
potatoes.
Yeah.
this weekend. So.
Well, like gun to your head, favorite potato way of eating, like baked, mashed.
mashed.
There's only one way, like it's mashed. Man.
Is it?
Like I do make a good roasted potato, but
Yeah.
like mashed. We got
Mashed.
Oh, scallop.
we got
scallop too.
we got
Ooh.
scallop too. We got the Swiss Chalet festive
Spesh?
special yesterday, and Melissa got it with fries. And I looked at her and I was like,
Mm.
"Why the hell did you get it with fries? You got to get it with mashed potatoes. Like, you got to get the chicken gravy and you got to smother everything in it. Like, it's
This is
just
fair.
there's only one way to have the festive special, and it was the first time I've ever had it, and
You've
I'm
never
kicking
had
myself.
a festive
How?
special?
What is wrong
I've gone
with you?
through 32 years and never had a festive
You got
special
issues.
until yesterday.
That seems wrong.
You're gonna get canceled
Well-
by Swiss Chalet,
That seems
and
wrong.
it's deserved.
It That seems
Fuck me,
wrong.
man. A festive special is the way to go, especially at Christmas. You get the Lindt chocolates and all that. My God, it's
that's what we
so
got.
good.
We got a quarter chicken dinner with stuffing and cranberries
Yeah,
and
man.
Lindt chocolate and the pie.
Yeah,
Nice.
And no whipped cream on the pumpkin pie though, so that was a choice. And
did you get takeout?
Yeah, we got.
That's
takeout.
why.
That's why.
Yeah, those fuckers.
Yeah.
Well, it would
What
get
are you
all
gonna do?
soggy.
Yeah, it would be like a runny mess by the time I got to you. It would be like sitting on top of the hot chicken.
Well, like Mel got like the coconut cream pie, and there was like that was infested with
But that's
whipped
made
cream.
with cream. Tony.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe they just
semantics. Semantics, Dave.
Semantics. But before we continue with movies instead of potatoes,
Yeah.
the keg twice baked potato.
Oh yeah, no, a loaded twice baked from the
loaded
keg
twice-
is
yeah.
heaven. It's heaven.
Heaven.
I could just go
Even
there
their
and eat a plate
even
of
their
those.
smashed mashed potatoes are fucking. They
Yeah,
got
those are
like
good.
the.
Well, at least you know
the
those ones aren't
skin
coming
in
out of
it.
a box.
Yeah, definitely not.
It's not.
Definitely
It's not
not.
instant mash.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't think I've ever had
Speaking of instant mash, the friggin' stuffing,
Yeah.
definitely box stuffing.
Hell yeah, man.
I know box stuffing very well,
Yep.
and that
I
was
like
box
box
stuffing.
stuffing.
It was. You know what? The fact that it comes out in like a perfect ice cream scoop, you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's box
I like it,
stuffing.
though.
I don't hate
that's
it.
not
I like
real,
it.
man.
And I don't love like the ground beef stuffing. Like your
Yeah.
mom did ground beef stuffing yesterday, and I was
Yeah, yeah. I've had that. I've had like ones with pork in it too, and it's just like
It's so weird. I just
It
like the
doesn't feel
bread.
right.
I like the bread.
yeah,
Yeah, you need bread. You need bread. There's no meat in stuffing.
exactly.
That's just
I
no.
think my mom's had like apples in it too.
That checks
That's
out.
different.
Yeah,
That's different.
whatever. Anyway,
Anyways, happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrated. Or I don't know if we're gonna say Happy Columbus Day.
no.
but- Okay.
Happy Indigenous Peoples Day.
Okay. We're gonna cut straight through. So
It's also October.
it is October, which means it is a spooky month, which means that James watches 31 movies all of October. Tony watches God knows how many scary movies in October.
258
And
in a
Dave
month.
tries his best to watch 31. And last year he got to 29.
That's pretty good, man.
I'm pretty
That's
proud of
pretty good.
myself. We'll see how we do this year. But before we get to the scary movies, we're going to do a recap of Don't Worry, Darling, the latest
Yes.
opus from Olivia Wilde
Opus.
that everyone couldn't
It
shut up
is going to
about
be
in
an
September.
opus because this is probably the last movie she's going to make for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you recall that there's been quite some controversy about the film. Apparently, her and Miss Flo, Florence Pugh,
Miss Flo.
they apparently had beef on the set. Apparently,
Yeah.
there were a number of times that Miss Flo had to direct the film herself because Miss Wilde was
I love that it's like a legal document. Miss Flo and Miss Wild.
porking Harry Styles.
Mhm.
No.
Oh, so is that actually that was actually confirmed?
It's never been confirmed, but there's definitely some bad beef there. And like I've seen Harry Styles, I would get stigmatized by Harry Styles too.
In like 20, 30 years, there'll be like an oral history of what went down, and we'll finally know the fucking truth because everyone will finally be willing to talk about it. But
It's true.
till then, it's
true.
all just rumors and speculation. But like,
Yeah, and
I can see it.
I could see it too. And she broke up with Jason Sudeikis, and then he had or whoever whatever firm were issuing her the divorce papers gave them to her at CinemaCon, which
Hilarious.
And
like
people
chef's,
were
like chef's kiss after hearing the bullshit that happened, and then you just get the full story,
Mhm.
and then hearing that Sudeikis got them to serve her while she was on stage.
I don't think
It makes sense.
he said he didn't.
I know
He said he didn't.
The thing is, when you have a process server, though, like it's not up to you. You don't get to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
go serve her at this." They just
Yeah.
chose that, and they were just like, "Well, we know
think
guarantee she's going to be there."
That was
so
brilliant. That was brilliant.
My thinking is, if that's where they got her, then she was dodging.
she was dodging it.
She
yeah.
must have been dodging.
Oh, she had to have been dodging.
Because there's no way they would go
Yeah.
to that length on
Yeah.
your first try.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that seems
yeah.
like a
You don't go
last
0 to
resort.
100 on
Yeah.
the first try.
Yeah. And like I know there was people like freaking out, like, oh, he could have had anything. And it's like, let's calm down.
Yeah.
Let's calm down. Clearly he got frisked for weapons, unlike us at TIFF. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
like he just handed her a document, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
But I thought that was good on him too. I thought it was brilliant. But yeah, obviously they need to do a little more sifting on who they let into CinemaCon, because the finger guns crew is coming.
Yeah, baby.
And then there was drums with Florence Pugh not wanting to promote the film.
Well, and then there was everything that happened with Shia LaBeouf as well.
Yeah, then there was some beef.
Shia came after. Shia came after, though.
Yeah, Shia was after. Well, Shia was in the lead up to the film finally coming out.
Mm-hmm.
That he was supposed to be the Harry Styles role, and then Olivia was like, "Oh yeah, we fired him," and he's like, "No."
Yeah,
you wanted to.
And then the emails came out,
away.
and
then Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine at the
Spitgate
at the Venice
Spitgate.
screen.
Yeah,
and they did
good.
the press conference, and they're like, "Where's Florence?" And she's like just getting off the tarmac. And she has a fancy drink in her hand.
Yeah, this flow coming in, man.
She shows up.
Then can't forget about Chris Pine just like zoning out through all of the
He's
interviews.
just so over it. Just
And then that they
zoning out with
on other sides of the theater.
And Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles could be seen next to each other the whole time, and
so they put Chris Pine between them. Yeah,
just
I feel bad for Chris Pine.
Well, he canceled. He was supposed to go to New York for the premiere, and he's like, "Nah, I've had
enough.
No,
I've got better things to do."
Well, there was that stupid interview with Harry Styles and him, and Harry Styles said something along the lines of, "It's a movie, and I didn't know it looks like a movie when you film it like a movie." And
well, that's what I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up the fact that Chris Pine just wanted to like blow his brains out during that like double interview with him and Harry Styles.
Yeah, because he's a classically trained actor.
Just shut your mouth.
Shut up. Shut up.
Shut your mouth.
He's a trained actor, and he's got the kid from One Direction talking beside him.
Yeah.
So like all of that leading up to the film coming out, and like honestly, when I saw the trailer for it, I mean, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this seems kind of interesting, like a weird 50s thing, but like weird things are going on. This could be like spooky. Like we don't know what's going on, but I was thinking maybe it's like some weird like sci-fi government conspiracy thing. Like I didn't know which way it was going. They did a pretty good job, I think, of like cutting that trailer. It sold enough of it that I was like, all right, I could see this. And then it came out, and oof.
I finally got to see it. I wanted to see it earlier, but I finally got to see it. And I had already heard rumblings of where the turn comes and like what it kind of resembled, and I was waiting to figure it out during the film. But all of that to say, I thought it was pretty ambitious. Yeah. And like it looked great.
Yes.
And the costuming was great, and the feel was great. It was
the set design was incredible. Like it was just really well done to give it like that old 50s town created for a government project feel to it. Like I felt like they nailed the vibe that they needed for that town. It was like it fit perfectly. Like it was like everything, the art deco of it all, like everything was there. It was all exactly the way that it should have been.
Yeah. It like I have no notes on that. And like she's answering the door with a cold beverage for him after a hard day's work, which apparently is not a thing people do now.
It is for me.
It's just for you. And then he goes down on her immediately, which I'm like, I don't know about that in the 50s, but cool.
Yeah.
And then weird things start happening, and you're trying to piece together what's going on. And well,
but a lot of it's just weird for the sake of being weird.
That too.
Like it's just like, oh, there's this happening. What's it about? I don't know.
Yeah,
we're gonna find out. No.
Yeah, they just they set a lot of things up and set a lot of things into motion, and once everything kind of starts coming apart, you're kind of like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
but why this?
Yeah.
And why this?
Yeah.
And why this? And then there's like at least two or three things that happen at the end of the movie that they bring up that they never brought up, and then they don't bring it up again.
Exactly. And why was he tap dancing in the middle? What was that whole dance
what the hell
number?
was that?
Why did that even exist?
What the hell was that?
I'm like, why? And also, I don't understand the structure. Why are people getting promoted? Like, just to keep the lie going? But like, it was like, oh, you're part of the inner circle. Here's this ring. Okay, what does that do? Does it matter?
Maybe they got more perks when they got promoted.
Maybe.
Sorry, I'm choking on something. So like I kind of muted myself.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Have a good cough.
Hold on 1 sec.
Yeah. But
yeah, there's just like there's definitely like at least an hour's worth of footage that isn't in that movie, because what they left in there, like there's definitely, they left the fragments, and it's like maybe you should have taken some of the fragments out because they don't make fucking sense.
No, and like there's even some of the pieces that they left in don't make a hell of a lot of sense. Like I don't know how far we can get into this, but
don't spoil it. It's worth finding out how this movie comes together.
But like on another level too, my research assistant sent me some info, and I was like, oh, I didn't really know this, but like it was based off a different script, like a spec script that Dick Van Dyke's grandson wrote.
That checks out,
which is pretty fucking cool. But the ending that was supposed to happen, they changed completely, and I don't even understand why. The ending that existed in the spec script is so fucking good and would have like tied everything together, because I really didn't like the ending. I thought it just kind of like...
The one girl was supposed to have a bigger part in the spec script that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Kiki Lane?
Yeah. Her character was supposed to be a lot more apparent and like the more of the driving force,
right?
Instead of just having this one cutaway of her freaking out and then having her one moment, one scene, and then
she gets that phone call too.
Yeah, but like like one or two scenes,
or that mirror thing in the dance,
versus being like an actual like supporting character and not just like an extended cameo,
right? Yeah,
and then like. There's just other weird things that are just weird for the sake of being weird. Like when she's cracking all the eggs.
And
when she fucking wraps wrap around her face. It's like, cool.
The egg thing, I was like, okay, cool. We're trying to show that, maybe things are a little bit weird. Things are maybe not what they seem. But the saran wrap thing was like, what are we not seeing? Like,
well, what about the other scene when when the wall
comes down?
What the fuck was that about?
I think that was just like a literal, like the walls are caving in on her. I think that was just a literal representation of that. But yes, to your point, that was kind of silly too.
Yeah. I like honestly, I think I think ambitious is the right word. I just don't think the execution really nails it at all. It just ends up being like, oh, I guess there's some weird shit in here, and it's a neat enough idea, but it just doesn't, to me, it just didn't land properly, and just like,
and it just kind of like putters out at the end.
Exactly. It's just like, oh, and I guess we got to wrap this up, and it's done. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
and like, I know we all agreed on this earlier. Criminal underuse of Nick Kroll.
Criminal.
What he's there, and he's being Nick Kroll, and for some reason
crushing it.
He's come on.
Yeah.
Come on now. Nick Kroll really has one character that he does, and he does it like, if you have the one character and you do it well, like obviously keep on keeping on. But like, he was so good. He knew his assignment, and like he like delivered in spades, and he was just so underused. I don't really like. Yeah, Chris Pine is like okay and everything, and like, but he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
he did nothing.
I think Chris Pine delivered, like, was menacing enough, but yeah, like
there wasn't enough for him to do.
Why?
There wasn't enough. There wasn't enough for him to do. Like, it was more sensual, and and I hate to say this, but like, they focused so hard on Olivia Wilde's character, and she had enough of a backstory, but it's only like mentioned in passing.
Yeah,
like it's like the one line, and if you're not paying attention, you're gonna miss it, and it's a crucial friggin' line that she says.
Yeah.
They don't do anything with it.
They don't do anything.
Does it matter?
They don't do anything with it.
That's the whole thing about
I
this
say it's
movie.
crucial because it explains why she's there.
Yeah.
Right?
It just
but they don't do it. They don't. There's no follow up. There's no like exploring that route. Like,
and
what's
the whole
point
movie,
of her character being there? Why is she so centralized? Like, why is she so important to be around in all these scenes? But there's no storyline.
And the whole movie, you think it's not even like a turn. It's just more of a. But that's not what you set up. Why didn't you show anything else?
Exactly. They're planting all these seeds and they're not doing anything with them later. It's like, oh yeah, remember we said that? And yeah, it's not going to fucking matter in the next half an hour.
Yeah.
It was a good story. It was a very ambitious, follow up to Booksmart.
Yeah. It is virtually completely different from Booksmart.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like completely different fucking genre too.
Yeah.
She just needed to flesh it out a little bit more and make it more coherent.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Stop setting up ideas and not paying them off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It needed another edit, I think.
Yeah.
Just clean it up.
Yeah.
Clean it up and have a better idea of where you're going.
Yeah.
Rather than planting all these seeds and then rushing it to the end and being like, oh fuck, I guess we got to end this.
I think she had it all planned properly. I think they just cut it down substantially.
Yeah.
There's no way the movie was written like that.
Yeah.
There's no way. There was definitely some setups a lot earlier. It's just, if the setups aren't there anymore, why did you keep those scenes later?
Even the way that the writing credits break down, like as I said, like Dick Van Dyke's grandson and a great nephew or whatever the fuck wrote the spec script for it. And then it was completely rewritten by the same writer Olivia Wilde worked with on Booksmart. And like the way that it breaks down now, it's like they are the Van Dykes are story buys.
Yeah.
And that I don't remember her name right now.
I'm looking it up for you.
The actual, like the writer that rewrote everything ended up getting the entire written by credit. So to me, it sounds like Katie Silberman got the written by credit, which you changed enough in order for it to be that sort of lineup of story by and written by. So I think that probably the original script had more and we just, we got whatever this was.
Yeah.
And it just, there's a lot more polish that it needed, which kind of sucks because Booksmart was very good.
I agree.
Makes sense.
I love Booksmart. It was in my top 10 that year.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that I don't know. I feel like it's a non-recommend for now for me. Like I wouldn't rush out.
There's a good movie. There's a good movie in there. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I did enjoy some parts in there. There's a good movie, but like what we got was not.
Yeah. Exactly.
Was not it.
Exactly.
Am I allowed to mention the selfie I got with Caitlin Dever where we were making eyes at each other?
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
Yeah. I think
I would wait. I would wait for VOD for this one.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it's worth watching just to see it, but I wouldn't rush out to see it. And to your point, there is a great movie here. It's just it's not there.
It's not there.
It's not there.
It's not there. Yeah.
Not there. So going beyond Don't Worry, Darling, we didn't really have too much planned, too much rigidity planned. We never have much rigidity planned, but even less this time. So we're going to talk about our main segment, and then we're going to talk about some of the other stuff we've been watching during Halloween, spooky season.
31 in October. So we're going to start up on the main segment with a Marvel special presentation called Werewolf by Night, which hit Disney Plus on October the 7th. Yeah. I watched it last night and I kind of wanted more.
Universal Monsters meets Most Dangerous Game.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I would say is the best
with
accurate.
with a sprinkle of H.P. Lovecraft in there.
Yeah, a little bit of
Like,
H.P. Lovecraft.
Ted is very an H.P. Lovecraft monster.
Man thing.
Fucking love
Ted.
Love Ted.
Fine. It's man thing. But
Yeah,
Ted.
But
yes.
it's Ted.
It's Ted.
His name is Ted.
Ted. Yeah. I didn't even want it anymore. I was fine with what I got. I just think it kind of like it loses steam.
Yeah.
And it kind of doesn't
know how to end.
It doesn't know how to end.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like the assignment is there, and director Michael Giacchino is
fucking whack.
Is like he's much more creative than some of the other movies we've been getting from the Marvel cinematic universe.
Yeah.
And his score is off the fucking chains.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was an okay, a good enough length. Maybe you could have added a bit more, but like there wasn't any more to say. It was just kind of like they wanted to go full horror, but then they tried to keep pulling back.
Yeah.
But then they did in a few other scenes. Like I definitely heard somebody say fuck, which I was like, oh, that's kind of shocking.
Yeah.
And then like there was that whole bit where there was like blood being splattered all over the screen. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm glad you guys are doing something a lot more adult here, but like they didn't commit to it.
Yeah. And it just, you're right. It had like a really straightforward, like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a game. You have to catch this monster and kill it. And it was just such a really cool premise. I loved the setup and the world that they built and the fake cigarette burns that they put throughout it to make it feel like it was shot on film.
And the scratches.
Yeah. And the occasional scratch they put in, even though everything else looks so pristine that I was like, come on, man. Like, you didn't. What do you think you are? You think this is fucking Robert Rodriguez with Grindhouse? No, you need to beat the shit out of that print. Like, this looks like a pristine thing that you just occasionally threw a little cigarette burn in the corner just to be like, oh, look, it's like a B movie.
One of the things I didn't like about it was their use of CGI. If they're going to lean into the practical effects, they should have leaned a little bit like stay practical. Don't try and mix it with CGI, because like the one scene that really pissed me off was his transformation scene.
Yeah. Same.
Because it was like part CGI, part practical, and then they like cut away
from it. They came back.
And then they come back, and it's like, come on, Marvel, we know you have fucking money. Like if fucking American Werewolf in London and Howling can do the fucking transformation without CGI for a fraction of
40
the fucking,
years ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago
Yeah.
for a fraction. Marvel can fucking do it now.
It's like a lot of what they were doing, like as you kind of mentioned, like Universal Monsters, like the old school sort of horror, it's like they didn't know what they wanted to ape when. Like, part of it felt like, oh yeah, you're pulling at, like, you know, they did like Ted was fully there and like fully realized as a CGI character, and like,
yeah, and he was interacting, and he looked great interacting.
And he looked great.
It's like they didn't know what they wanted to crib from when. And it's like, so you gave us a full character, so you clearly can do good monster work and design. But then when it came to like the transformation, they pulled it like it was like a horror film from like the 30s, where you would do some camera trickery, maybe a cutaway in order to jump to the next part of the transformation, because you couldn't do, like, it was like you were trying to do two different, like, but you already showed me that you can. So it's like, you're not. You know what I mean? Like, there was just like, you're not picking a style. You're picking every style and just picking and choosing what was easier for you.
Yeah, exactly. And it just ruined it was supposed to be a big moment, and it looked like total garbage.
Yeah, I didn't like that moment.
And then everything after that was just like, oh, whole bunch of smoke, and it's like, okay, like,
like pick a goddamn lane, Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, it was stylish, and I like that it was a self-contained one shot.
Yeah.
Like a comic book would be, like, where it's all there.
Yep.
There's no fucking
one story.
It's one story. And I like that. And it's like, at least I didn't see it, like fucking Captain America's shield's not sitting on the wall, or like fucking Iron Man's underpants aren't like over in the corner type thing.
Yeah.
Like, or fucking Thanos's giant cock isn't like encased in fucking
in a museum glass.
glass. Like, it was self-contained, and they didn't throw it in our face like, oh, it's all connected.
Yeah. And it was very much like, look, like it was a self-contained world that they did a very good job of world building. I immediately got on board with all the characters that they threw
10
out.
minutes. Like Marvel doesn't do that.
It's just immediately I was like, all right, I'm in. I know who everyone is. And there was like 7 people that I'd never seen before. Like I know them all. And
there's no fucking filler.
Nope.
There's no fucking
straight
filler.
to the chase.
Straight to the chase.
Yeah.
Like
you set up you set up the family dynamic. Yeah. Like everything was there. Every like complex thing that Elsa was going through, like with the family dynamic, everything. You set it up. 10 minutes. Let's go.
Yeah. And you're like,
and then the game is afoot.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
and then
why don't all the other Marvel movies follow this strategy?
No,
why
is you gotta get through
Avengers
5 episodes.
Why is Avengers Endgame fucking 3 hours and 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Why is
because there's an hour-long fight scene. That's why.
Why is there fucking 6 hours of bullshit in WandaVision only for something to finally fucking happen in the last 3 episodes?
Yeah. Well, that's been there. That's been the thing the whole time. You got to waffle for like at least 4 episodes, and then fill in everything else at the end. Or it's like where this one's just like, nope, we have a runtime of whatever it was, 45 minutes or something with
it was like 52
with credits.
Yeah.
But like we have a runtime. We are going to use every single minute of it. There will be no fluff. We do not have time, which works to its benefit and then also to its detriment at the end, because I feel like they didn't know what to do with it. They were just like, oh, and
sushi.
Yeah. Like,
and then they said sushi.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of ends on a whimper.
Yeah,
but I feel like this was just like a test to see what they can do in this special presentation, and then hopefully they bring out more, because like I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed like the format of it.
Yeah,
and like I liked the little like you already said, I liked the self-contained story.
Yep.
Point A to getting you from point A to point B, and that was it. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was just needed a little bit more fine tuning.
Yep.
That's fair.
I don't need a 6-episode miniseries every single fucking time you want to introduce me to something new. Like, you can do these. These are fine. Like, if you don't have enough to say for a 2-hour movie, then do one of these. It don't fluff. Like, I don't even want to know what this would look like as like a 6-episode fucking series. It would have been fucking atrocious to get through.
We wouldn't become the fucking werewolf until episode 4.
5. Yeah. 4 would be hinted at that he's about to transform, and then 5 you get the transformation, and then 6 is sushi the whole time.
What did you guys think of our boy Gael?
I think he was fine.
Oh yeah, man. I liked him.
I like him. I've always liked him as an actor, and he was pretty solid. He didn't have much to work with, but he was solid.
Well, like he was charming as hell, and like I'm pretty sure this is his first like.
That just comes off, right? Like he just walks on the screen. You're like, okay, yeah, charming as hell. I get it,
right? But like he plays a fucking werewolf, and he still has that Spanish charm, and like I like that, and I like that he did something new, and I like that he wasn't when he's not the kind of werewolf that you typically see. He's not. Yeah. Not a werewolf that enjoys being a werewolf, because he knows what's going to happen, right? So I kind of like that.
Enjoy being the werewolf.
You don't see them go like that deep into their psyche in the werewolf movies. Like I don't know. I just thought it was something.
It definitely felt more. Yeah, it definitely felt more like he has been a werewolf for a very long time, and he doesn't like who he becomes, and has like developed a system and a technique and everything. Like it felt like a very much like, oh, he's not a new werewolf. Like this isn't something new that we're going to experience with him. This is like
exactly right. And it wasn't another fucking origin story, right?
Yes,
that's true.
We didn't need to know about his backstory.
There was no origin story.
He literally was like, okay, he's a werewolf. He's hiding in plain sight. He's pretending to be a human, and he knows what he is. And go
exactly
right.
Yeah, you're right. There was no origin story BS.
Yeah. No, I thought he was great. I thought Laura Donnelly was great as well. I like
Elsa.
Yeah.
I
like the dynamic between them, and it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun diversion, and it's short enough that it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah,
and the nitpicks we have are more of committing to things. It's not like Thor nitpicks where we're like, what the fuck was this even here for?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, and kudos to Michael Giacchino for it's pretty good. Like, this is the longest film he's ever directed. Good for him.
Good for him. And the score, I knew the score was going to be great, but it's
I like his scores too, because they're always there and they're always great, but they always fit so well into the world that you hardly even like you could not even notice that it's there. It just fits. It feels so perfect for what you're watching that like
this could have been silent and then just had the score over it. It probably would have been a
silent
better
film. Oh my god, Nosferatu style.
Yeah, like good for him. Good for him. I'm glad he got the chance. And yes, Gael.
Yeah,
well done, Gael.
Doing very great.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind going back into this world and getting a little bit more of that bromance between Gael's character and Man-Thing.
Ted. I love everything about them. I love him and Ted. They seem so cute together.
Just that whole end scene. I was just like, you know what? Give me more of that.
Yeah.
I want that. I want.
You just want a romantic comedy about
romantic comedy with those
them living in the woods
with Man-Thing and
eating sushi.
Jack.
Just them getting sushi. Yeah.
Jack and Ted sushi for days.
Exactly. I was surprised it didn't have like an end credit scene.
Yeah, I was like, oh really? Yeah, they're just sitting there eating. Another good one would be like, because obviously you can't bring Ted into a restaurant, but if Jack came back with like the sushi order and Ted's like complaining that he forgot like, I don't know, the California rolls or something. And he's like, well, I'm not going back. Like, see, there's so much there. It's a gold mine.
So much.
It was also nice that they
writes itself.
It was also nice that there wasn't a fucking credit scene that
that had to tie into some other universe.
Into something. Like Doctor Strange like shows up, or fucking who's someone else that's fucking Julia Louis-Dreyfus shows up and is like, I have an assignment for you.
I want to recruit you. I don't know why I made her Dracula, but whatever.
It has to be spooky.
Yeah,
it has to be spooky. I am curious how this fits into the whole.
I don't think it has to.
Universe.
It doesn't
think it has to either. But you know, with Marvel, everything has.
Everything's
got
to. Someone's going to show up somewhere.
Yeah. Someone's going to show up somewhere. You know, you can't miss anything of Marvel, because if you miss one thing, then you know it just throws off the continuity of everything else after it. Right?
You say that, but I haven't watched Eternals yet, and I don't give a fuck.
I still haven't. I
watched Eternals. I haven't watched any of the new series though. I didn't watch. Oh fuck! What is it like?
She-Hulk.
No, I haven't watched She-Hulk.
I watched the premiere. Apparently her and Daredevil go heels to Jesus.
Yeah.
I haven't got to that episode yet. I just got past the episode where they spoil The Sopranos. So
after all this time,
it's been like 15 years, Tom.
Yeah.
But if you're like my wife, I need to figure out where it is so that I can cover that up.
15 years.
Wait, watch The Sopranos already. Stop watching She-Hulk and start The Sopranos.
Yeah.
You'll think yourself. It's amazing.
True. Well, yeah, obviously.
These are true
She-Hulk
facts.
is a pile of shit, but
I thought it was fine. I thought the premiere was fine.
Yeah.
Again, fine. Just fine.
And I didn't hate Miss Marvel. I thought that was.
I didn't watch it.
I thought that was an interesting
watched
one.
it yet.
Yeah, I watched that when I had COVID. So.
Nice.
Yeah, that was an interesting one, and it ends in the fucking most Marvel way possible. And
like most things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this was worth watching, and doesn't overstay its welcome. So
yeah, agreed.
Definitely seek it out. It's spooky season, so if you need
spooky,
you don't want to.
And I mean, like, it's spooky in the lightest possible sense of the word spooky.
Yeah, it's about as spooky as those fucking.
It's baby food spooky.
30s Universal monster movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's got some moments that are a little bit like.
Yeah, I don't want to say they're doing something different here, but it's a step in the right direction stylistically.
Exactly.
If they could continue doing something like this, instead of making every movie look the same.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And even this one was gray too.
It sure was. Just because there was no color.
Love
Well,
it.
yeah. I won't spoil it.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
But but since it's spooky season and this is
spooky.
Yes.
Can I just keep doing it?
You can.
I love it.
You can. And this is the sixth annual 31 in October, I think.
That you've done?
Yeah.
I've only done.
I think Tony,
4.
you and I have done it since the start, right? Or you started the year after. Yeah. Yeah. So it's our 6th annual.
2016. Yeah.
And yeah, Dave, you jumped in whenever you felt like it, but
thank you.
Yes, welcome to the 6th annual. So we've been watching a whole bunch of shit, but let's talk about some other shit that we've been watching since it's, October, and maybe we can throw out recommendations to people, but
don't watch Hocus Pocus 2.
I've heard.
Don't watch it. It's not worth it.
Did you watch it? Yeah, you watched the original years ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was one of those 90s kids who watched Hocus Pocus quite often, and it's generational nostalgia. It's not a great film,
right?
No, it's like I watched it yesterday, and I actually downgraded my rating that I gave it last year.
Oh wow,
it's charming.
Okay.
It's charming. There's a certain charm to it, and a certain level of humor, and you're kind of like, oh, it's the 90s, so it's cutesy.
Sure, yeah.
I like her singing "I'll Put a Spell on You." I always like that.
Sure.
But this one, just like, they're trying to capture something, and like it's very clear that they waited too long to try.
Right.
And
it's been like 30 years.
Yeah, it's been over 30 years, or almost 29 years. Yeah. And just like they try to do something interesting, and there's like backstory stuff, and you're like, there was barely any last time. Why did you need to add this? Why is this character even here if they're not going to serve any purpose?
No.
Why are we setting up more sequels? Like come on, guys. Like just
can I ask something?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is Sarah Jessica Parker overly thirsty like she is in the first one? Because oh my God, that woman, I don't know what the fuck she's trying to play. It's a kids movie. And she's just so thirsty. So thirsty.
Little less thirst. Little
mature. So she's matured over the 29 years since the first one.
Little less, but they kind of fall into their characters quite well. They don't skip a beat. Like they're the same characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes
which
sense.
I liked.
Yeah.
I knew they would be. I thought it was weird that Kathy Najimy, the lovely young woman from Sister Act and Hocus Pocus. I never knew how to say her name. Do you know how to say her name?
Kathy Najimy. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
She's great.
The sister who's not Bette Midler or Sarah Jessica.
Right. She's great. Like she's a riot. But this is basically the big difference between the two films. In the first film, she doesn't get a broomstick. She gets like an old classy vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum, yeah.
To ride.
Yeah.
In this one, it's a Swiffer wet jet.
Oh. It would have been a lot more cool if it was a Dyson.
No, it's a Swiffer wet jet.
No. Wow.
So that should tell you everything. And there's like
it tells us that Disney got a sponsorship from Swiffer wet jet.
Yeah. And there's a third act turn that I was like, but no, that goes against your character. Why would you? No.
Yeah.
Why is that
great.
here?
Yeah.
What is this? No, stop. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. I know it's like the most watched streaming film
not a metric.
On Disney Plus with 0 metrics. But, again, generational nostalgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would it help to watch the first one before you watch the second one?
Just to get you in the right mindset. If you haven't watched it in forever, maybe. But like I watched it a couple of years ago. I knew what to expect. I went back just to check one thing because I was like, I don't recall this, and it's there. So, but yeah, nice. like you could see that everybody's happy to be there, type thing. But
yeah,
everybody outside of the core trio, not a fan of.
Makes sense. I watched Hocus Pocus yesterday. So
nice.
Yes, we were watching it in anticipation to watch the second one.
Okay.
Because we had heard that like if you watch the first one first, then the second one's not as bad as if you hadn't seen the first one in years, then you go right to the second one, kind of thing. But if that is what your bar is to watch this movie, that's telling you something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
James, hit us with something you watched that you would recommend.
That I would recommend? Okay, hell yeah. That hits me right to the one that I got to talk about and I wanted to talk about, so I was really hoping I got the opportunity. Motherfucking Christine. Yeah.
The car movie?
Nice.
Yes, John Carpenter's The Car movie based on a story by Stephen King.
Nice.
It's a car that kills people
As
you do. No, fuck. Like it's another movie where I was just like, all right, like, you know, when I'm putting together these lists, it's the 6th year. Like I've kind of seen like all the big names by now, and I try to do these as much as I think all three of us try to do. We try to pick things that we haven't seen, or it's been a substantial amount of time since we've seen it. Like, because you can't constantly, like, I don't want to watch dog shit every year just by always watching stuff I haven't seen, because at some point I'm going to start scraping the bottom of the barrel. But like, I try to pick stuff.
Big fucking barrel.
It's a big barrel.
Horror film is a big. It's a big barrel
with unfortunately a lot of not great things in there. But I'd never seen Christine. It was just like it showed up on a list of like when I was putting things together. People were like, "Fucking Christine." I'm like, okay, all right. This seems like it could be interesting. And like I kind of knew the premise because it's been riffed on in different things over the years. I think Futurama had the wear car thing. Titan did something with a car. Yes, Tony, I know you're a big Titan fan.
You need to, man. Always comes
buddy,
back to
when you
Titan.
love something, you just love it, and you just.
I really hope they bring it on Criterion or something ridiculous.
Criterion, Arrow, Scream Factory. I will buy fucking all of them.
But and I feel the same way about Christine. I want to own this movie in some capacity, mainly because I want to find some like behind the scenes shit, because some of the shit that they pulled off in here is incredible, practically. Yeah. Like it's fucking wild. I don't know how. I would love to know what their car budget was, because they had this like 50s caddy, and I don't know how many of them they went through, but I would love to know.
Probably a bunch.
And I know they did like a lot of like really cool like reverse shots and things like that, but there's this moment where the car is putting itself back together, and just like you get close-up shots, and it's like the grill was like completely compressed and pushed in, and you're watching it unfold, and it comes back pristine. And like I know they could have like reversed it, and that's fine, but like I would love to see how they even got it to compact the way that they did. Like it's just so cool. And the entire thing, there's one fucking scene that is worth every single, like your entire time in it. And it is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen committed to a horror film in my life. It's spectacular. This, like, Christine is a car that kills people. It finishes like one of its kills and it gets set on fire, and it continues to chase its next victim while completely on fire. And it's all practical.
I know what you're seeing.
And it's so fucking gorgeous. Like, this movie is gorgeous, man.
So it's a slasher film, and the slasher is the car.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's insane.
You've sold me.
It's
get John Carpenter on the phone and let's ask him some questions.
I would love to.
Friend of the podcast, John Carpenter.
Oh,
please,
considering our love for John Carpenter,
we would oh man,
I'd be
considering all of our loves for John Carpenter.
I would be cool with a John Carpenter deep dive.
Oh yeah,
followed by an interview with John Carpenter.
Yeah, like just, and again, like it was something I'd never seen. I've seen a lot of John Carpenter stuff, but this one kind of slipped under the radar, and I'm just like, holy shit, like this. And it's not anything that I kind of expected beyond a car that kills people, but I didn't know how you were going to craft a story around that with characters, and they did. And like the acting is surprisingly good for what it is. I mean, it's still cheesy and hokey. You are dealing with a car that murders people, but the way that they crafted everything around it is very, very cool. And yeah, just, it's a big recommend from me.
I guess I'm going to have to revise my list again.
Fucking, you gotta fit time for Christine in there, man. It's something else. But I will say the main character, he definitely fucked that car.
It
is. I think Tony, after we were kind of talking about it offline before, after I finished watching it, And Tony, you were like,
gas tank?
No, Tony was like, how horny is it? I'm like, oh man, it is so horny. Like, this guy,
like, crazy horny.
Yeah.
It's super fun because
Yeah.
I think they're, what is it? Brad Fuller, the guy who did Hannibal.
Brad Fuller, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is like in the running or like is developing a remake he's doing something, and they were talking about Christine.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how horny Christine was. And he was like, whatever Christine was, we're doing double of that.
Insane.
Like we're going all in on the
Insane.
horniness.
But yeah, Keith Gordon, who plays Arnie, who's like the main character outside of Christine, the car,
the titular
car. Yeah, it all plays so, and like they're in high school, but you know, it's like the 80s high school, so everyone looks like they're 48. And
that
like
was the good thing about Hocus Pocus too. They look like they're in high school.
Oh, that's great. The main like antagonist bully at high school literally looked like he was 52 years old. He had like mutton chops down to here. He had fucking crow's feet coming in. I'm like, what the where did you find this guy? Why has he got a switchblade? What is this?
He looks like Biff from Back to the Future with the makeup on.
Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just like, oh man. Anyway, maybe he doesn't look like he's in his 50s, but like late 30s.
He's old.
But like beyond that, I mean, everyone else in it is playing like a high schooler who's like super fucking horny. And yeah, that guy definitely he definitely fucks a car.
That checks out.
Brian Fuller. The guy. And yes, he is doing a remake of Christine. And he did go on record to say he was making it twice as horny as the first one.
Oh my god. There's definitely going to be, and we're going to see a penis slowly get inserted into a tailpipe.
Didn't we?
I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it if they went to Tatan. That's a tan route. And like,
is that not horny enough?
Oh, that's, yeah.
Either way,
I think it's been taken
whatever
to its
Brian
extreme.
Fuller does, I am all in. Like if he wants to make John Carpenter twice as horny, buddy, I'm all in.
All right. But yeah, big recommend from me.
Tony, hit us with a recommend.
I also have a John Carpenter movie that I wouldn't mind recommending, but like since we just went on a rampage about John Carpenter, I'll
well, you can continue if it's not Christine. No, who cares?
I really want to talk about this one movie.
Okay.
Actually, two movies that I have. The first movie that I'm going to talk about is The Sadness.
The Sadness.
I started 31 on October with The Sadness, and oh boy.
Was it
what
bleak? A movie to start with.
Yeah, it's bleak, James.
Jesus.
It's fucking bleak.
This zombie movie is unlike any zombie movie you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
And I do not say that lightly. It absolutely destroys you.
Oh,
because
great.
You're just it is so bleak. It is so like you almost watch it in disbelief that you're just like, no, they couldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. And then you're like, no, they did. They did. I watched this movie at 8 a.m. on a weekend while I was in bed with my fiance who was sleeping beside me.
You guys are married already.
Yeah, I know. Oh, fuck. I said fiance.
Yeah.
I mean wife. We're getting married again in 2 weeks, boys. Are you ready?
Oh, so you reversed titles back?
We just reversed back to fiance.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. Just had to look over at my phone, make sure that she didn't fucking text me. I'm not your fiance.
My fiance. Yeah.
Furthermore, I had to bite my fist because I was just watching in disgust.
Oh.
Like this movie just fucking is so dirty and grimy and bloody for the sake of bloody, but it's also like just like a crime against humanity because it just goes to some very dark places. And you would think that, after all of this like darkness and like just like putting you into a frame of mind where you just feel icky, they just hit you with one of the saddest fucking endings ever.
Oh.
Basically, the movie is like it's almost like a pandemic movie, I would say.
It's a pandemic movie.
Yeah. It's a pandemic movie without being a pandemic. Or no, it is a pandemic movie. So a virus gets out. This couple, the Buddy drives his girl to work. And then chaos ensues. And then from there, they are trying to find their way back to each other while this virus is basically ripping through the city.
Oh, okay.
But the virus isn't like your typical virus. It like plays on a part of your head where your capability. Dave, interrupt me if I'm saying something wrong, because you've seen this movie as well. It attacks the part in your brain that
your primal urges.
Like your primal urges. So like your capability for like violence, sex, all those kind of urges, and basically smashes everything together. So
so everyone's horny or wants to kill each other.
Great.
Or
all
eat
at the
each
same
other.
time.
Or
right.
eat each other.
Or both.
Yeah.
Or all of them.
So bath salts.
So bath salts, basically. Yeah. And there's this one character in it. I don't, for the life of me, I don't know his name, but he was one of the main people in like because he like organizes like a posse, basically. So he's the leader of the group.
Is he the businessman?
The businessman on the train who was just trying to be nice, and then he
wasn't. Yeah, his name is I'm gonna butcher his pronunciation, but it looks like it's Zhu Qiang Wang. He was probably the best part of that film.
Huh. James, I shit you not. Right. This guy gave me fucking nightmares. Like when I close my eyes, I just see him smiling with blood coming out of his
mouth.
Like this man, like he understood the assignment, and he took it like
that's fucked up.
Way the fuck over there, man.
It's twisted.
It was a fucked up movie. I was scarred from this movie. Like I can't. Yeah. It's one of those movies where you can't unsee it.
I saw it earlier this year, and I needed an ice cold shower afterwards. I was just like, because I had a screener of it, and I messaged the person afterwards, and I was like, that was a lot. And she's like, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Glad you enjoyed it. I was like, I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but it was a vision, that's for sure.
It is certainly
it was definitely
a film.
It was an intense thrill ride.
A film.
I was never bored. My eyes were literally glued to the screen the entire time. So I will give it that. It was always exciting. You almost wish that they didn't go to some of the places that they did.
All right.
And if you see it, you know exactly what part I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And just to wrap that up in a nice bow for James.
Yes, please.
The director and writer is named Robert Jabez, and he's a Mississauga boy.
Nice.
Yeah, he's from Mississauga.
A homegrown man.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty awesome that the guy was Canadian.
Yeah. No, it's super.
Yeah, he does all his work in Taipei, but
yeah. Well,
he's a Mississauga boy.
I mean, I kind of want to see it, but also I kind of don't.
Tread lightly.
Yeah. Watch it in the daylight. All the lights on.
Watch it in the daylight. All
have
the lights
the shower
on,
ready after.
Yep, having the shower ready. I don't recommend it. Watching it at night.
I watch it at night.
you fucking idiot.
I'm glad I watched it in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
it definitely seems like a breakfast movie.
Yeah.
It's a breakfast movie for sure, because it's the only thing you're going to be thinking about the entire day.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. That's fucked up, man.
It's a film.
Yeah. So let's go one more round, but Dave, you give us a recommend, and then Tony and I will give a not so recommend, since you gave us Hocus Pocus 2, which you did not recommend.
No.
So give us a recommend just so that you have something positive as well to share with the world.
So I've been watching some good stuff that I've been pretty happy with that I haven't seen in forever. I watched the remake of The Ring. I saw the remake of The Mummy, and God, I love Brendan Fraser much.
I haven't seen The Mummy in forever.
The Renaissance, it couldn't have come in at a better time.
Yeah.
And last night I watched Near Dark, which fucking Bill Paxton. Yeah, man. My God, he's so good in that fucking movie. And Lance Henriksen, oh my God, that movie's fucking wild.
Yeah.
But the one I want to talk about is the hit at the box office right now. Smile.
You ended up seeing it. Good for you.
I did see it. Yeah. And it's very low budget, which I was appreciative of, and it's genuinely unsettling.
Oh, okay.
It is very unsettling. I think they could have done a little bit less with the CGI work, but this movie is like jump scare o'clock. Like literally, you could set your watch to how many fucking jump scares there are in this movie. Like every other fucking turn is a jump scare.
Yeah, you see the camera pee a little bit too, like the person's framed a little bit too far to the left. Oh, I see what's gonna happen here.
It's not even like things aren't even set. Like sometimes they just throw a fucking jump scare at you.
Jesus.
And I'm just like, and there's one part where I was like, oh no, not that. And then it gets worse. And just like, it's very effective. And we saw it with a crowd of people and like they were freaking the fuck out.
Awesome.
Because it was just, it's unsettling. And it does for Smiles what Jaws did for Beaches.
Right.
Or what Pieces of a Woman did for Home Births.
Oh God. That's a callback. Thank you for bringing up Pieces of a Woman. Jesus.
We saw that with my mother. Remember, James?
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a great movie to watch.
That was something.
It was something.
But the lead, I believe her name is Sosie Bacon. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Okay. She is Kevin Bacon's daughter, and she rocks the shit out of this movie. Like she goes through a journey and she just rocks it.
Sosie?
Yeah. Sosie. Yeah. She just rocks it. And you're just like I know some people will be like, oh, nepotism, but like she makes it count. Like she's awesome in this movie. Yeah. And Cal Penn shows up, which I thought was fucking weird. And I know I've also gotten a lot older because I leaned over to my buddy when I was watching it, who I used to watch horror movies with all the fucking time back in the day. And I was like, I like that door. That's a nice door.
I wonder where they got that door.
I like that window. It's a beautiful window. He's like, are you redesigning your house? What the fuck, Dave? And
it's a nice shag carpet.
And at the end of the movie, after the movie was over, Miss Bacon, she was driving around like a Kia SUV during the film, and her fiance, I don't really know what he does, but he's top brass of something, and he's driving around like a Maserati.
Sure.
And I was just like, what the fuck does he get a Maserati and she's driving a fucking station wagon around?
Fucking Kia.
And he's just like, that's what you're curious about of this entire film. Their
vehicle relationship.
Relationship, not the smiling and the blood,
the unsettlingness of this entire
unsettlingness. Yeah, because like they show a lot of it in the trailer. Like the money shot in the trailer when her head kind of flips down.
Yeah,
is scary as shit in the movie, and it would have been even better if you didn't know that was coming.
Yeah,
but like there's still some, even though you saw it in the trailer, it's still very unsettling.
Yeah.
It's just like some of the stuff, like the thing that kicks it all off is the girl that she's with in the psych ward who's smiling, and then she kills herself. And basically she like cuts her throat open type thing. But the CGI doesn't look very good.
Oh.
So she's smiling the whole time as she's bleeding all over the place, and it just looks like shit.
Oh.
But then they come back and they do other things that are more practical, and you're like, why didn't the whole movie look practical?
Right? Yeah. Why didn't you just like lean into the practicality side of it?
Yeah. But it's number one with a bullet for a reason. It's fucked.
Great.
It's fucked.
Great.
Love it.
Yeah. So you guys,
we need to see it then.
Yeah, you need to put this one on the list.
Oh, it's on the list.
You need to move it up in queue.
Let me tell you why I still haven't seen it. And my plan was to kind of see it maybe over this weekend. And then I looked at the offerings at the local Cineplex, and it's AVX only. And I went, nope.
Oh, they moved it. When I saw it, it wasn't an AVX.
Yeah, no, this whole weekend it's AVX only. And I was like, no. I will go regular. I'm not doing premium for Smile.
That's fair.
So,
does it really need AVX? Is the sound really that bad?
Right?
Or does it need
the score and the sound would be loud as shit in the AVX.
Yeah.
But
like I know why they I know why they would put it in the AVX.
Yeah.
To get more money, obviously.
Correct. But like it's been doing, like I saw it on a Wednesday night and there were like 50 people there. Like,
yeah, that's pretty good.
Fucking bumping.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Well, it's on the list. So you want to go through one more? just like non-recommends from Tony and I, maybe. And then...
that sounds good to me.
All right, Tony, give me a non-recommend.
It is a little film that came out earlier this year. It is called They/Them.
They Them. All right, cool.
Yeah.
It has Kevin Bacon in it.
Hey,
and it has Kevin Bacon.
6 degrees of it's just Kevin Bacon.
It is about it's a riff on Friday the 13th.
Sure.
I would say. It's at a summer camp, but it is a religious conversion camp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they go there.
Okay.
If you're expecting a slasher movie,
what is called They/Them?
Yeah, if you're looking at it for a slasher, probably look somewhere else.
Oh,
because they try and do something different, and they're leaning in towards the they lean towards like the LGBTQ,
that makes sense.
And like, right, and it's just fucking icky, and it's just not done properly. It's super cringe. Kevin Bacon's the best part, obviously. They break out into a High School Musical riff of Perfect by Pink.
Amazing. Sure.
And that's not the first time it shows up in that little High School Musical thing, and then it shows up again at the end.
Yeah.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
It's really, really bad, and it's so forgettable, and it's just not good. Like, I don't know what the hell they were trying. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with this. And like they obviously had Kevin Bacon because they wanted to lean in heavily into like the fucking Camp Crystal Lake kind of thing.
Right.
But
yeah, it makes sense why you bring in a Kevin Bacon if you're trying to do like a camp slasher thing. Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It sucked. It sucked real bad.
Yeah.
There were some good kills in it. I will say that because there are some kills.
Cool.
But overall just super icky and super just not good.
No.
And it sucks because the director of the movie is John Logan. If you guys remember who John Logan is.
I do not. Fuck is John Logan?
Was he at the Briss I was at last week? How would I know?
John Logan is the writer of such films as Gladiator, Skyfall, Spectre.
Oh, okay. Well,
Sweeney Todd, Hugo.
All right.
Aviator, Rango.
Did he? Did he write and direct They Them, or
he directed it? I don't see a writing. Oh no, he wrote it too.
Oh,
so yeah, he did write and direct.
So he flew too close to the sun.
Pretty much.
The Icarus.
Pretty much. And you got Blumhouse. It's a Blumhouse joint. So like you had the parts.
Damn it, Jason.
You had the parts.
Get him on the phone.
Mr. Blum letting us down.
The execution of this movie is just awful. Yeah. It has a 1.6 on Letterboxd.
Yikes on bikes.
And I'm glad that you guys brought that up because that was my review.
No.
So much yikes on bikes.
Yikes on bikes. Amazing. So don't see it.
Don't see it.
All right.
Just avoid it like the plague.
All right. And to finish this off, then I guess I'll give my don't recommend, and then we can continue on to other things. But my don't recommend is the first movie I watched for 31 in October, a tiny little film from 2010 called Devil.
M. Night Shyamalan.
An M. Night Shyamalan written joint. Story joint.
Yeah.
Don't do that. We don't do that anymore.
M. Night Shyamalan story.
We call him M. Night. We
Mr. Night.
As Mr. Night.
Mr. Night.
M. Night Shyamalan, or Mr. Shyamalan.
Mr. Shyamalan.
None of that shit.
Definitely anymore. Mr. Night. Anyway, so it's his story, not written by, not directed by. It's just he kind of wrote the initial spec script for it. And it has his hallmarks. I mean, it's got a twist ending, I guess.
What a twist!
What a twist! Which that's still my favorite skit. I fucking love it so much. Anyway, that's Robot Chicken aside. It's just not. It's a cool premise. You got 5 people in an elevator, and the devil is one of them. cool, let's fuck around and like see where this leads.
Fuck around and find out.
Jesus. And like some of the kills that happen are pretty gnarly, but they're one of those like, oh, the lights went out. Oh, the lights are back on. And someone's got like a shard of glass coming out of their neck. And it's like, okay, so that's what we're going to do. The acting is fucking garbo.
Even my boy Chris Messina.
It's all not very good.
Oh, I love my boy Chris Messina.
There wasn't really a really good standout anywhere in there. They all kind of did just fine, but like they weren't given much to work with to begin with, and it takes too long to get going. To actually like get into the thick of it. It's just like 5 people in an elevator. You're like, okay, where the fuck is this going? And then it's like, oh, the devil's here already. The ending is predictable enough. You can kind of see it, and it's kind of like lame in its own sense. The connection that happens between the characters is like pretty fucking obvious from the start. It's just
so it's typical. It's post signed Shyamalan style.
Unfortunately, okay. Yeah, and like even with whatever rewrites the person that got the written by credit for did and director, it never came together, and I got taken out of it kind of right away too, because like I was looking at it and like it starts with an interesting concept, but there's I forgot to mention my biggest sort of pet peeve with it. It's way too much narration. Way the fuck, and narration beyond the point of needing it. Like this movie does not require you to sell me on who the devil is, and the entire like beginning 3 minutes is them telling like the narrator telling like a spooky tale about the devil and like folklore, and I'm like, I don't need this. Like everyone is familiar with the concept of the fucking movie is called Devil. Do we really need an explanation? We need the fucking 5-minute fucking explanation of what the devil is? Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, that happened and I was already kind of out of it, and I was like watching the beginning and I'm like, I know this place. Why does this seem so familiar? So then I looked it up and I'm like, yep, they shot the whole fucking thing in Toronto. And I was like, there we go. Okay. I was like, I reckon there was a shot and had like a Chinese restaurant behind it. I was like, I've seen that Chinese restaurant. Where is this? And I'm like, oh, it's Toronto. And then it's Toronto. Toronto was playing Philadelphia in this movie.
Oh,
so
City
what a change.
Love.
Yeah, what a change of pace for it. But the buildings are like, you see the buildings, you're like, oh, that's a financial district building. I know which one that is. If you're from Toronto, you will understand immediately.
I get it.
But it just, like, I don't recommend, like, I don't think it's as bad. It's not Yikes on Bikes. It's just not good either. It's just, I guess, blah. It's there.
Did Shyamalan produce it or did he write it as well?
Story by and produced.
He probably produced it. Yeah, he produced it.
Yeah. Story by and produced.
I've never seen the movie, but I have fond memories of being in a theater at least twice where everybody in the theater was into the trailer. Oh, and then the trailer pops up and said, from the mind of M. Night Shyamalan, and everybody groans.
Yep.
Like, this looks cool. And then they're just like,
yeah, that's that post Signs era, man. He fell off a cliff after that. He never really recovered.
The Visit's pretty solid.
That's on my list for this year.
So is Split. I like both. I
like Split,
movies.
And The Visit's on my list for this year.
I like both of those movies, and I like the idea behind Old.
Just absolute garbo execution.
Old was still a fun movie, though. Like it was
with Gael.
Yeah, our boy.
I would say that's a fun bad movie. Yeah. Like it's not like I wouldn't put that bottom tier.
But also like Old was a lot of fun because we saw it as a group. Like it was a lot of fun because we got to rip on it while we were kind of watching it.
Yeah.
That on your own, I think would be a completely different experience of just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But together, that one in a theater could have been a lot of fun if the crowd was also into just like kind of ripping on it a little. But
the new one looks interesting. Knock at the Door.
Yeah.
Or Cabin at the
Knock at the Door.
Knock at the Door.
Knock at the Door.
With Batista and
that one looks good.
Real Sophie's Choice happening in there.
It looks interesting at least. Like I know it's not that one's based on a book.
Yeah.
And Old was based on a graphic novel.
Yes.
Like he changed it up to make it more Shyamalan, but They're not his original ideas.
I'm still, he's past that era at least of Lady in the Water.
Ugh.
And The Village.
Ugh. I want to watch The Village again. I remember
people actually argue that The Village is one of his better ones.
Really?
I've seen a lot of lists, and people are defending The Village.
Well, when the next couple movies are The Lady in the Water, The Happening,
The
Last Airbender, After Earth, like, maybe you can defend it.
Yeah. Maybe you could say, it's not so. And I don't think anybody's out here saying The Village is the worst piece of shit in the world. It's just also not very good, especially what he was coming off of.
Yeah.
Like, he was knocking it out of the park in the beginning period, and then it just, like, wasn't very good anymore. And, like, I'm not saying The Village is bad. I'm just saying it's also not good.
I'm going to watch Signs either this week or next week, and I'm excited for that.
I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah. Neither have I. I don't think I've seen it since it came out.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah. So I think we're off to a great start. We're off to the races.
Yes. We'll have more when we put out our next episode. Maybe we'll give you a couple more recommends if we have them, and then that'll sustain you and get you all the way through Halloween, and then we'll wrap it up a little bit, maybe, because I'm sure the only things that we're going to be watching for the most part are going to be random ass horror movies. So
this is true.
Spooky. Yes. Spooky. We'll still try to fit other things in.
Spooky.
Yes. Oh my God. So, are we on to the next?
We're on to the next.
Is it time?
It's time.
Is it time for Dave's new motherfucking blues?
What did that boy buy? It's Dave's new blues.
I love that jingle. That's a great fucking jingle.
Isn't it though?
That's a great jingle.
Yeah. Huge shout outs to best friend of the podcast, patron of the podcast, Joshua Fumo of the Foley podcast, who's doing fucking fantastic work over there. But he reached out to us. He just loves everything that the three of us are doing on this podcast, and wrote a little jingle to introduce us into one of our main segments that's always a mainstay of Dave's New Blues.
I love it. Thank you, Josh.
Is it an actual blue this time? Or
yeah,
is
what
it
do we
a
got?
collectible?
Oh, I wish I could do Dave's New Collectibles, but I didn't bring it.
Dave's New, oh my God.
I was hoping you'd mention the collectible.
We'll come back. We'll circle back to
if you notice in the screen, it's actually sitting on the table behind you.
Oh,
I do see it. No, the new blue this week is the new 4K of Army of Darkness.
Nice.
It came out from Screen Factory. It was you could buy it as a regular or as a gorgeous steel book that I just had to have in my collection.
So you got the steel?
I obviously had to get the steel. So the 4K, there's one 4K and 3 Blu-rays. The one 4K is the theatrical cut. It looks amazing, as you would expect. They just redid it this year, so it looks magnificent, better than Army of Darkness has ever looked in its life.
Yeah.
Since this movie has looked grungy before.
Yep.
And the other 3 discs are the same 3 discs that they already put out a few years ago. So it's an incredible set.
Yeah.
It's like Scream Factory always knocks it out of the park.
Sure.
But Army of Darkness is like one of their pinnacle releases. Like they redid, the first disc is theatrical edition again, or theatrical cut again, but they use the new transfer.
Cool.
Obviously, it doesn't look as good as the 4K, but like most things don't.
Yeah.
Most things don't. And then the second disc is the director's cut.
Yeah.
Which has the darker ending.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then the third disc is the international cut.
Oh, I didn't know there was a third cut.
There's an international cut as well as the TV version.
Oh shit.
Yeah, which I haven't watched yet, but apparently it looks like dog shit.
Amazing.
But yeah, like all of them have different scenes in them. They are all different movies.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
It's very cool. Very cool.
That's almost borderline Blade Runner levels of cuts though, eh?
Yeah, but at least he's just like, it's just these different versions.
For different versions for different markets.
Different versions for markets. Not like, I totally meant that.
Not to correct
Ridley
your
Scott.
garbage.
I'm a kooky artist.
Yeah. That's cool though.
Yeah, it's very cool. So it's a top-notch set, and it's one of my favorite sets. It has a great audio commentary, lots of special features, and it's just, I'm glad that it's readily available again, and I hope that people buy it.
Yeah.
If you don't already have a copy of Army of Darkness, because I think Army of Darkness is one of the most released discs ever. Because like I have a version on DVD, I have a version on Blu-ray, I have a version on fucking 4K now, and like I know Evil Dead had God knows how many different versions, and I have like God knows how many versions of Evil Dead 2. Like it just seems like every other year they just released a new one.
Yeah.
So
no, but this sounds like a really cool set. Do you know if it was it a film print transfer or a negative transfer?
That I don't know.
Interesting.
That I don't know.
I'm always curious to see where they like whether someone preserved the negative properly or
it's probably a film print.
Why don't you tell James the story of how you pre-ordered Army of Darkness?
Ooh, there's a story.
Remember what happened on Scream Factory, and you tried to take advantage of it, and they canceled it on you?
Oh no! What happened?
So Scream Factory made a boo-boo and put it up for a much cheaper price than they should have.
Oh,
and it was going to come. It was going to come with both versions of the 4K, plus posters, plus the pin set.
Collector edition,
a very collectable edition. And
this boo-boo had just happened, and when it happened, Dave just so happened to click
add to cart,
see that boo-boo, and his eyes widened.
Yes,
and
and then they canceled it later that day.
Lame. They should have honored it. That's on them.
I think they would have honored it if people weren't buying multiple copies.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And what was I going to say? They gave a $5 credit to their credit, and they refunded immediately. And we ended up using it for the last Shout Factory sale that we got.
Yeah.
So it wasn't in vain.
That reminds me, just to throw another fun anecdote into there that I think all three of us were involved in at the time as well. I'm going back to the day that I was working at Future Shop. And I remember I was on shift and I was working in the tech department at the time, so I wasn't customer facing, which was nice. But I got a text, or a message, and I think it was from Dave. I want to say, Tony. Okay, it was from Tony, and he's like, "Hey, I think Future Shop has a pricing error on a couple Blu-rays. You should definitely see if that's a thing."
Gone in 60 seconds.
It's Gone in 60 Seconds and National Treasure. And you're like,
I only knew about God in 60 Seconds. You guys found out about
We figured out National Treasure because I started looking through the price list because I worked there. So I was able to like look up all the Blu-rays and sort them by price and go, what the fuck is this? So before I told anyone, I obviously took advantage of it. So I grabbed Gone in 60 Seconds and National Treasure, and Gone in 60 Seconds rang up at 65 cents. And
I got it for $1.28 when in the Future Shop in Hamilton.
Yeah. Mine rang up at 65 cents. National Treasure rang up, I think, at like 98 cents. And they were like they were Blu-rays that had just been like they should have, I think they were supposed to be priced at like 16 or 17 bucks or something like that. I mean, they were still like old releases by then, but still was like the Blu-ray copies of both of those movies were, we got them for like $3 fucking. And it was the greatest thing ever. And immediately after I finished purchasing it, I took my receipt and I walked over to my manager and went, this is a thing, by the way. And he's like, the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna go. And then I think half an hour later they changed it because I had to be a good employee too. But you
needed to take advantage of it.
Fucking Future Shop.
Yeah, exactly.
You fucked up.
I got taken like that too.
Yeah,
I got taken for like $1.34 or something.
Incredible. No, it was the greatest text, and I'm so happy it was like real and not just like a fluke at like the store in Hamilton, but it was like a nationwide Future Shop fluke error that they priced this fucking thing wrong.
My eyes just widened. I was dating somebody at the time, and they were like, "Oh, do you want a movie?" I was like, "Yeah, I want this one." They're like, "Okay," and that was just because I wanted Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah,
and I was just like, "Is there?"
Thank fuck, man. I'm so happy you that accidentally happened, and then you immediately were like, "James, go."
Go.
I got National Treasure out of that deal too.
Yeah. See, and also fuck Future Shop because A, they don't exist anymore, and B, they closed my store without telling me. So
I miss
fuck them.
Future Shop.
Yeah.
I'm sad about that. Mostly because I can't find a copy of National Treasure, the first one, if it's not over like $15 or $20, and it's the fucking French version.
Sorry that you can't get it for.
Should have picked it up on Dollar Day.
I didn't like National Treasure up until 5 years ago when I first saw it.
I always like.
I have the second one.
$1,
and it's Nick Cage.
I know, but that was before me and Dave became obsessed with Nick Cage.
I've always been obsessed with Nick Cage.
No, you haven't. Shut your face. Okay, stop saying that you were always. We were on Nick Cage train, but we weren't obsessed like the obsession that we are now.
Oh, he is my spirit
with Nick
animal.
Cage.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't your spirit animal. Yeah, you did. That was good. That was a good time. We should have videotaped it, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I love that.
Should have videotaped it.
I love it.
Well, good times.
Thank you, Mr. Cage.
Yes.
Shout out to friend of the podcast, Nicolas Cage.
Nick Cage. Oh man, Mr. Cage, please come on our podcast.
He has an outstanding invite to join the podcast.
Nick Cage, you can come on our podcast, but just understand that I'm the only one that's going to be talking to you because Dave and Tony are just going to be in shock the entire time, staring at you like little high school girls. Oh my God, it's Nick Cage. We'll be like, hello, Mr. Cage. I appreciate your body of work, and Dave's just going to be almost in tears.
Yeah,
kind of like that time we met. Kind of like that time we met Jeff Goldblum. We were all running into each other like mice trying to get the cheese.
Yeah, or Danny Trejo.
Mm.
Yeah,
this guy's here.
This guy. Yeah, he's another one I would love to. Hey, you two are in it. Oh, this guy's in it too.
This guy's in it too.
I
love that he was wearing a Sunday vest.
We have good celebrity encounters.
We've had very good moments. We've met some very cool people.
This is true.
I mean, we paid to meet them, but fuck it.
It was worth
it.
Or we wait 6 hours for them just to deny us.
Remember Takei?
Yeah, George Takei. That was a good one.
I'm so happy you turned around and said, "Can we get an oh my?" Oh my.
Loved it.
It was incredible.
Tim Curry was
Tim
good
Curry. Yeah. Christopher Lloyd.
That was a good one too.
That was our consolation prize.
Yeah, we wanted Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Was it Jeff? Oh yeah, and he bailed.
Canceled.
Yeah, and then we got him the next year. Yeah. That's right.
That's why he came back.
Yeah.
Because he knew that there was pent up demand for him.
Also, that his Jeff Goldblum hour was just fucking bananas.
Yeah, and then he called it early so he could make more money and spend more time with the fans.
Fuck, dude, we sang "Oh Canada" in the middle of it. It was so fucking weird.
Yeah, that was pretty wacky.
Jeff Goldblum is a weird guy.
This is such a weird, you don't quite understand it until and then you're just like, what the fuck? This is you on a normal day. What is happening?
Yeah.
Anyway, this is a long celebrity rant of joy, but hey, you want to wrap this up?
They sometimes say don't meet your heroes, but then sometimes you meet them and you're like
yep,
everything you wanted them to be.
And more.
Yep. And more.
Anyways,
on that note,
I think we'll wrap this episode up.
Awesome.
Put a nice bow on it for spooky season.
Yeah.
We'll be back with some more spooky hits and spooky not so hits.
Yes.
But until then, my name is Dave, and I'm here again with
Tony B
and
James.
And we'll be seeing you very soon. And
hopefully David won't be talking like the Count.
Yeah.
One.
Happy Halloween, gang, and happy Thanksgiving, gang.
Bye.